Hey guys, welcome back. The Harbinger quest dropped just this last Tuesday, and with it random rolls for Hawkmoon. So in today's video, I'm going to show you just how to do that. Completion grants you 2 fresh randomly rolled Hawkmoons as well as its catalyst. So there's pretty good reason to grind this one out every week. As a hand cannon, Hawkmoon already feels pretty great in the current sandbox, so adding some good perks is really going to put it on another level. I don't know if I should be calling this a guide since I'm pretty fresh at this mission myself, but I hope it helps either way. There are some things that I tried that worked well and some other things that didn't so much. So I'm here to cut to the chase and save you some time so you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. Harbinger isn't actually a mission that appears on your directory. You have to go to the EDZ Trostland where that fireplace was discovered. The hole is already blown in it, and you just hold X to near the fireplace and it starts the mission. After you start, you're going to go through some very narrow hallways until you come to a door, you open that, and head out into the outside. Shortly after you get outside, you're going to shoot a hobgoblin. If you look just down past to the right of him, you'll see like a dead tree sticking out. You got to jump on the very tip of that, and then you got to jump in the direction of the wall towards like one of those rusty pipes sticking out. After climbing up a little bit on like the joints, the midsections of the wall, you'll find a little hole into the wall where we can progress to the next part. The next part consists of a long hallway with little hallways shooting off of that one. All you have to do here is take out like 3 mini bosses. Each of these bosses will appear at linear points that are, I think, even labeled 1, 2, and 3. You can get them down to about half health before they get an immunity shield, after which you'll have to chase them into one of the hallways. These hallways have blights protecting them, so it's a pretty good indication of where you need to go. Something you can do is get all the bosses in the hallway down to half health, so then they're all in the side hallways, but I wouldn't really recommend this because it just gets kind of confusing, and I lost track a little. Some parts of this video, which I'm probably going to cut out, admittedly, I get a little lost and I'm kind of wandering around for a little while. For this, a kinetic shotgun and then any long-ranged void weapon is going to help out here. Something that's going to help you take out the snipers quickly is ideal, and there are lots of enemies with void shields, and I'm pretty sure match game is on, so you're definitely going to want void. For my heavy, I used Lament. It just seemed to make sense for the bosses. It took them down to half and then eventually killed them really quickly. And it also seemed to be a good choice for me, who was a little bit underleveled for this. I wasn't expecting it to be quite so high, but the mission actually runs at 1270. I was only around 1266, and while that may not seem like a lot, Bungie kind of punishes you for being underleveled. After you kill these 3 mini-bosses, little markers will appear that will guide you to the final boss arena from Lake of Shadows. It's a little bit different this time, a little more ransacked, I guess you could say. All you have to do is survive here for a couple waves of reinforcements. These reinforcements generally consist of Thrall, Goblins, Unstoppable Phalanx Champions, and Vandals up above. For this part, I thought it was really helpful to stick to like one of the 4 corner pillars and take the high ground up there. It allowed me to take cover from enemies below and then take out the snipers first. So for this part, I used the Adored Sniper Rifle, and then an Unstoppable hand cannon, and then Lament as well. Most important thing is just take out the snipers really quick, because they kill you in about 3 shots, which probably sounds like a decent amount, but if you get distracted and don't take them out quickly enough, they will chew right through you. First night I was trying to do this, it was like 2 a.m, I was tired, and I ended up dying like 15 times here. So after you clear out this area, it's going to take you through the jumping encounters that we went through before to get Hawkmoon the first time, and it's going to take you right to the original Traveler Shard. This part is also pretty simple. The final boss is just a big Taken Knight. It'll initially start by spawning in Goblin reinforcements, and for about each third of the boss damage that you do, he summons reinforcements, which consists of like a knight, a few acolytes with void shields, and even more goblins. Again, having the high ground in this part seems really important. You'll see in the video that I stick mainly to the right side at the very highest rock, If you're using a Void Scout Rifle, this lets you pick off the Acolytes easy without putting yourself in too much danger, which is a great thing because there are a lot of them, and for some reason they spawn a ton of Acolyte eyes in this mission. Since there are so many of them, I've found using a Charged with Light build that relies on breaking matching energy shield types to be helpful, and then combining that with Protective Light just to play it on the safe side, and I found that pretty helpful. So after I would clear out each wave of enemies, I would go use the Lament on the boss. Now something you want to be careful about is that you don't take too much damage leading up to the boss, because he will stomp you. It'll be fine as long as you haven't taken too much damage, because Lament heals you as you strike your opponent. But if he hit you once or twice on your way in, you can forget it, because that stomp is pretty powerful, at least when you're a little bit underleveled like myself. Something else important to remember here is that I think the goblins spawn infinitely in little time increments or whenever you finish them off. So after the waves, after killing 33% of the boss's health, I think goblins just spawn indefinitely, so take those out and then do the damage that you need to on the boss quickly. Otherwise they just kind of stack up and you end up wasting a lot of time, and it gets easy to get carried away a little bit. So yeah, just as a little recap, I would probably use something like High Albedo and maybe Adored for the first 2 encounters, and then High Albedo and a Void Scout Rifle for the last encounter, and then Lament all the way through works just fine. This mission really isn't that hard. Primarily it took me a little while just because I was underleveled, but if you've been keeping up the level grinding a little bit better than I have, then you can solo this no problem. And I would say this mission is well worth your time, because when you finish it, you get the Catalyst for Hawkmoon as well as 2 random rolls. I got pretty lucky and I got Opening Shot on one and Rangefinder on the other. I've been a pretty big fan of Rangefinder so far. Just adds a couple extra meters that gives you the edge for a 140 hand cannon that you don't normally get. But there are definitely other rolls I'm looking forward to getting, like Killing Wind and even Surplus. I think Surplus with that additional stability is going to feel pretty nice for console users like myself. And while I haven't done any personal testing with it, the Catalyst does seem like it's pretty well worth getting, as it adds another round to the magazine, meaning you could potentially get Paracausal Shot ×8, which would mean even more damage, if I'm thinking correctly. And it also adds, I believe, increased handling range and reload speed for each stack of Paracausal Shot. So overall, I think the Catalyst serves to round this gun out pretty nicely. So with all that said, I think that's all for today's video. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please subscribe, comment, leave a like. I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, until then, have a good one.